Hola, amigos. It is I, Schmuel Buckman, from the bowels of New Jersey. Whoa, my camera's. We'll fix all this shit. Anyway, what's going on, guys? It is Schmuel Buckman, and it is a Thursday night, and for some reason, my settings are all messed up, but you're here for me, so I'm not going to delay this shit. No guest scheduled, so we will figure this all out. I apologize for being late. We could not do the earlier show today because of my real job. You know how that goes. And then I forgot. I didn't realize that I wasn't set up. And so when I went to go get set up, I realized, oh shit, it's taking longer than I thought. So, and I'm holding my mic in my hand for the moment and making tons of noise. Let's see if we can get this camera thing going. I have been having an issue with OBS and StreamYard, and I don't know what the hell it is. It's like it just for some reason doesn't like my camera, and I don't know why. And it's a decent camera, and I haven't had any OBS problems that I'm aware of. But it is what it is. So we'll go through as we're on, but I don't really want to delay the show anymore. Um, Lunatics, yes, the Stevie Lunatics, right? Isn't that mind you? So this is better, right? All right, we'll go there. Um, oh, it is the realest Stevie Lou. Where's my Schmuelaholics at? The realest Stevie Lou. We were talking about you the other night, or say we. I had Will Heron on, and Will was saying that you've always been nice to him, and I said you were. We had our issues, but we worked it all out, and friend prices. We'll talk about that in a minute, and uh, we're gonna get to the ozone generator in about 30 seconds. You're gonna see me light a cigar because I didn't get to smoke one on the deck before we came in, and I as I've explained on numerous occasions, I go from the Jersey Shore to Queens and then into Hoboken. And I am in Hoboken now. And it's a condo, so I thought I would get to sit on the front porch and smoke one, but it got too late. Not the front porch, the deck. The front porch is down in the big city. Um, Schmuel, I'm loving this karmic guy. That's from Sam Bibley. We'll talk about that in a second there, Sam. Let's see if I can get this thing out of here. This Shure mic comes with an adapter to screw it into a mic stand, and the only problem is when it goes in, it locks in so much I can't get it out. And then if I weren't an idiot, I would have done this before the show started and gotten the adapter screw out. So I'm trying to see if I can get it out with plastic, but maybe, maybe not. In any event, I'll hold it for the time being. The stand that it comes with, which is this, I'm going to put it in here because at least it'll won't be making noise and won't be giving Peter Sky Parker problems. But the stand that it comes with is very high, and the problem is, I mean, it works great, it sounds great, except it hears all my nose breathing, and I don't seem to be able to do anything about that, and I don't want to subject you guys. And I unmuted. So now I'm going to look like a midget because the chair I'm in is short, and even though my desk is one of those standing desks that rises up and down, it's down as low as it goes. So we'll just have to put up with the mic in front of my mouth, which is cool because I need to get my teeth cleaned anyway. And they're a disgusting mess of tobacco and coffee. All right. So Sam Bibley, as one of the loyalist chatters in the room, how's the sound? Do. Mud Sharks Unite. We're all in the same chats today. Yes, we have. Hey, Kahuna. Uh, uh, uh. Cool. Background looks great. You're not keying out. Thank you. Yeah, I'm still ugly though, Deb. That's the problem. I don't look good in it, but I did. I really fucked up. I thought I had more time and I didn't. So move the mic over 45 degrees to one side or the other. I'm trying to hide my teeth, Kuna. I'm trying to hide my teeth. This mic, this is a Shure MV7 Plus, and it is cardioid, and the sound comes in through the front of it. So if I move it, it doesn't really, you can hear me moving it. And when we first got it, because I'm such an idiot, when I first got it, I thought that it's got a light on it. So I thought the light was supposed to go to your side so you all could see it. And, well, I was wrong. And we spent an entire stream with people complaining about my not being able to hear me. But It's not that I'm old, it's just that I've never done this before. So I'm learning, and I've been lucky enough to have people right along with me. So that's really cool. So Kahuna, you can hear me. Brandon Deft is here. Let's do an Opster like roll call. We got Chris Mack. We got Johnny Chopsticks. Johnny Chopsticks is new, so I don't know if that's is doesn't matter. So Johnny Chopsticks is here. Johnny Payton number 8. Hey Johnny, always good to see you. Uh, Much better now. I can actually hear myself without blowing my ears out. The realest Stevie Lou is here. So Stevie Lou, Stevie Lou gets a lot of shit. I give Stevie Lou a lot of shit, um, and not commenting on podcasting skill or whatever. In person, Stevie Lou has always been one of the nicest people I've met. So, um, and I always say you're allowed to like who you like, and I don't necessarily have to like the same people. So, uh, in any event, I use the same Mike Stuttering John used. I feel special. Yeah, but does it have all the spit on it? Um, I actually the first on this mic it came with a black pop filter, and I managed to set that on fire one night. I was lighting a cigar, and it went inside. And as we were streaming, we could see smoke billowing out. So then I bought new ones, but I made sure the ones that I bought are washable, so you can rinse them in the sink, and we can get the shit off them. And my color's off. So, but luckily I don't do anything to get streamed, so nobody's going to be bothered by that. Um, Deb is here. Uh, was she? I thought she was my thumbnail tonight. Yes, you were my thumbnail tonight. Deb sent me an awesome picture that she made. And I'm assuming that it was done in AI, but it was done it was done really well. So artists use everything that's available to them. So we don't get to shit on people for just AI. I've heard people say things about AI. Now, maybe when it comes to AI music, that may be true, but as far as art goes, you got to have an eye, you know? Because I've seen some stuff made in AI that is shit, but people think it's great. Hey, Sabres Project, Schmuel is in session. Uh, Sabres prospects, you got to do me a favor when you see, if you ever see Mumbling Nick in chat, you need to send that to him. Mumbling Nick, OG Mumbling Nick is always coming up with new names for my show. And Deb, there's more to it behind the scenes. Exactly. Exactly. Because I've seen people throw AI shit together and it stinks. AI music, I don't know much about, but I'm reminded of when autotune came about, and you could make anybody sound good. And I once won a karaoke competition, and the dude told me that he auto-tuned. I don't know if he used the word auto-tune, but he said he auto-tuned the whole thing, and it was very funny because I can't sing for shit. I have zero musical ability. I'm like, I'll listen to, a pop song or whatever, but, and I really like classical music, but I don't know anything about it. Um, let's see what this says. Schmuel isn't the guy whose kids didn't have Coke in their system kind of automatically better than the guy who did? Well, the guy whose kids didn't have Coke in their system were never tested, so I can't argue about a negative. And you know, who knows what ultra processed products are in SpaghettiOs? You know, in that world, anything is possible. But Frank, you were missing the point, right? We weren't praising Aaron over Ricada as people. They're both pieces of shit. What we were doing was we we're talking about how the situation was handled and our opinion of who handled it with more grace and class, um, and who's making a fool of themselves now, and who's back to 2K plus viewers and lots of super chats and stuff. Um, so I think the deal is that people are more willing to forgive Nick than they are Aaron, and I think that that's deserved. So, look, it is up to, you know, everybody's got to make their own. Everybody's got to make their own decisions about it. But one of the logical fallacy that exists in the Dabbleverse more than any other place that I've seen it is the false dichotomy, right? Which means if I like A, then I can't possibly like B. And that's not at all what this is about. There's the scene from Spartacus where Laurence Olivier says to Tony Curtis, "Do you like snails? And do you like oysters?" And the answer to yes was both. And so that means that a man, and he was saying, does a man who, uh, what do you call it? Does liking one make you dislike the other? And the answer is no, and the reverse is true, right? I can think two people are a piece of shit. I'm not stupid. But at the same time, me commenting on what an asshole Aaron is and what an asshole Aaron's been doing, that's the dog shaking in the back, folks. Just the assholiness of Aaron is pointed out, and what I think is some redemption for Nick is also being pointed out. Now, I'm not a Nick fan. I'm going to Hackamania. I don't have any desire or urge to get Nick's picture or talk to Nick or any of those things. Okay? I don't think what he did was right. And there you go. So I can do both. All right? Same EB. I hate when Chad covers him on Kumi's Cucks. I don't know that I've ever seen Kumi's Cucks, so I can't judge. But in case you haven't guessed, I'm not a Chad fan. In any event, Deb, doggy. Oh yeah, this guy's name, and many of you met him in Atlantic City. This guy's name is Kojiko, and he's a Shiba Inu, a white Shiba Inu that we got service dog status for, so we could take him with us when we go to the Borgata. We usually go to hotels that allow pets, but the Borgata didn't, but they had the service dog thing, and we were like, whoa, what do we need, like, what is a service dog? Because I saw people with all sorts of dogs that want to stay in there. And I called up, and they were like, you need to say he's a service dog. That was their answer. So, but we legitimately got him a service dog tag, and he walked around. No pics, but he'll be ball washing him at the meet and greet. I don't think so, Mint. Not Nick. And I don't also think I'm going to probably. I have a feeling Nick is going to be way popular, and I have a distinct aversion to waiting in lines, and it's just not that interesting to me. I would much rather meet my fellow fans and the potato. I met the potato, but get to talk to the potato, stuff like that, and you know, there we go. All right. Sabres prospects. I'm willing to hear Rakeda about the hair test potentially being handled poorly by the police. Either way, zero winners in the whole deal. Yes, true. And the other thing though is it's like I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I generally don't trust these police investigations. Like there's the missing cocaine, right, from this investigation, and some some other stuff. So I, I don't know. I've been involved in a couple. Believe me, I've been involved in a couple as a victim, and watching the way the police act, it shocks me that they catch anybody. And but you know, there you go. And I in God, it was like right around 2000. It had to be before 9/11. I was robbed at gunpoint in an office, and it was the 12th or 13th robbery these guys had performed. They were known as pattern robbers, and there's a Queens robbery squad, and uh, these guys were searching them and all that. Now, they didn't do 12 or 13 in a day. They had done it over months, and they hadn't caught these guys. And so I got robbed. And it was the second time I was robbed at gunpoint in 3 months. Um, and I was just, it fucked me up. I was just completely fucked up because this time I really thought I was going to get killed or beaten. And they claimed to be from the mob. They were white guys, by the way, and they claimed to be from the mob, and they were coming back every week for $250. Oh, or I was going to be in trouble, and they took my wallet. We know where you live, all this other stuff. Um, but these guys basically were a cottage industry, and nobody caught them. And the only way they got caught was I called a client of mine who was a cop, and I didn't know at the time, but he was also on the Queens robbery squad. And it was through his efforts that they caught this guy with information that had been sitting there for more than a month. So, um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not like I'm not all that trusting. And I come from a police, fire, uh, New York City kind of teacher family. So, so Deb, this is actually very funny. They not only uh, looked like they were cast members from The Sopranos, but they were brothers. And they also told me that they were Gotti. I think they said they were Gotti. Gotti or one of these guys. I'm going to say Gotti. And so I don't know what year I don't know. So let's go between 99 and 2001. I don't remember exactly now. Um, but I can tell you it was in December, and I know it was in December because it was exactly 90 days from the day before the first time I was robbed. Um, and yeah, they went on, "Hey Taz, welcome, sweetheart. We love you over here, and I'll be off in time for you guys to get going." Um, but yeah, so they said they were from the mob, and it turned out so there was a thing at the time called the Ridgewood Crew, and I'm doing this from memory, and I think I'm pretty right, but I'd have to check all my facts. And they were a bunch of Italian kids that like hung out in Ridgewood, Queens, and they decided that they wanted to get recognized. They wanted to make their own crew. Is that like in The Sopranos? Was it Jackie Jr. that shoots Christopher because he thinks he's going to get known or something? Anyway, the problem with for these guys was them robbing places and saying that they were part of the mob um, just pissed off the mob. And they also robbed one place in particular that they shouldn't have robbed. So, but in any event, these guys were real scumbags. Two brothers. One was dressed in a suit, and the other one was wearing like shit clothes, like a polo shirt and jeans. Now it's December, and he had no jacket on. Um, well, Deb, they were cosplay. They were cosplaying. Yes, they were, but they were doing it with real guns. um, But what's so interesting is that they were not in the mob, but they knew people in the mob. And when these guys robbed me and when they robbed other places, um, they weren't necessarily violent. I got uh, pushed around a bit, kind of hit with a metal object held in one's hand that launches projectiles. But when I was when they finally got caught, everybody that they went to, they threatened them, but women particularly, like they threatened them, and they robbed one place in Queens where there were two older people. It was a man and a woman were in it. It was a catering hall, and these guys were just working there during the day. And during the weekday, they came in and they robbed the place, and they were holding the woman um, with against the wall with a gun, and they told the other guy said to him, he's like, let's just shoot this motherfucker and go home, talking about the old man, because the old man was giving him stuff. So in any event, um, they get they got busted. Well, so the point of that story was they were tough guys, and they were tough to me. They were tough to these other people that they robbed. But when they got caught, the cops said we really expected that they were going to be tough guys. We got them in the car, and they couldn't stop singing. They were singing like canaries. Well, anyway, one of the brothers turned his cousin in, and the police raided the cousin's house, and there were lots of drugs and all that stuff. And the cousin knew that it was them that had ratted him out because they were the only ones that knew about this delivery, and they were trying to get off. And so one of them was in uh, Queens County Court. The criminal court's on Queens Boulevard now, but the holding cell was like in the basement of a courthouse in Suffern Boulevard, and somebody had a Bic pen, and they ran him through with a Bic pen in that thing. I don't know what happened after that. They got like one got 15 years, one got 12. I would imagine they probably served 4 or 5 and got out. But unbelievable. But yeah, they thought they were mafia crew, and apparently they had hassles because they robbed. I guess I could just say it, but I won't. They robbed like a fraternal club, like the Masons or the Moose Lodge or whatever. And what what I never knew, and I used to drive past this place every day, was they ran a football betting pool out of there, and they had tens and tens of, like, I don't know, $30,000 or something, and these guys robbed that. Well, in New York, you don't run that size betting pool without having to take care of somebody. So they were essentially robbing other mobsters, which was probably not a great idea. Anyway, it's an old story. Um, Maybe I'll go back in my records and look up the name. And I was robbed, and this is Deb. Deb said they were cosplaying. And the specific reason that I was robbed on the day and time that I was robbed, which was somewhere between 11 and 12, was because the one brother in the suit, had to go to court that afternoon. And he'd gone in the morning on a domestic violence thing, and they said the judge wasn't there, and he had to come back at 1 o'clock. And he was convinced that he was going to be arrested when he came back at 1 o'clock. So they went out and did these robberies trying to get bail money. And they even have pictures of these two geniuses depositing the money in the bank that they stole. They got $105 for me, but I don't really know what they got from other people that morning. But that's the story. And Taz Resident Arcs Bics are great. And Taz, I should have it in my hand, but it's in my pants, which is a crystal, I think they call it. It's 1.6 millimeters. It's like a bold Bic. I love them, love them. And I'm left-handed and I write like shit, but I still write. I'm not fast enough to type, and I like to take notes. And I go through, God, I go through a bunch of legal pads. No, I'm not a lawyer, but I go through a bunch of legal pads, and then I save them. And then I save them for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years just to have them. But yeah, I love it. Anyway, love a pen. All right, that's where we are. So what I what has let's just see here. Let's just go through. Schmuel, that's a legit scary. Schmuel, that's legit scary though, Schmuel. Real mobsters don't walk around advertising they're in the mob. And if you have a business, you need a gun. Well, I could have gotten a gun. for all you guys that want to do doxing, my brother-in-law's brother was at the time the head of the pistol licensing division in New York City, and I could have gotten a gun, but I was also married, and the wife I had at the time did not want me having a gun, and I don't really know that I wanted to have it. I was really shaken after that, and it takes a lot to shake old Schmuel. Um, and one of the cops that I talked to said that he goes, whenever the store owner has a gun, it always raises the level of violence. Like, you know, 90% of the time, nobody gets hurt, but it's when the store owner has a weapon. So, I was thinking about it, and I wasn't a store owner. Store owner, it was a office, but a storefront place. Anyway, and one that you wouldn't expect to find money at anyway. Um, and it turned out that I was set up by a customer. And I was set up by a customer because these guys were desperate for cash and they wanted to go to easy places and get cash. So the bail probably wasn't going to be very much. They probably needed like $1,000 or whatever. And so, you go to these smaller offices. When I went to court, actually not court, when I went to identify them, right, do the lineup, uh, there were a lot of real estate people there. That was pretty wild. Like real estate people seemed to get, they were going in there and like taking their watches and shit. And I never knew this, but they say that real estate people, the men particularly, love to wear expensive watches and stuff. I was thinking of Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross, where my watch costs more than your car. Um, but yeah, and real mobsters don't walk around advertising they're in a mob. But when you have a gun at your forehead, you pretty much believe anything. But I was scared. I was terrified. So I didn't get a gun. I wound up getting a dog, and then that started the history of me bringing dogs to work. And that guy passed away. One of my favorite dogs, passed away, and then that's when I got Muttley, and this one is 11 years old. So there you go. All right, let me read some of these comments. Oh, those are so great. Heliglide on paper. Yes, Taz, the big crystal. Liam said he's coming for me because I brought up his wonky eye. He says he knows who I am. I gotta say, man, I saw him. Was it Excuse me, was it Povo's Clown Town or something like that? That Ozempic is some amazing shit, huh? It's like really seemed to do something for him. So I hope he gets joy and becomes less of a scumbag. Mr. Blue Sky, I'm in the cabal. Mr. Blue Sky, I want to talk about the cabal, but I need a couple of minutes. So I don't have a pen. I don't want to get up and get one. So you're my note taker. Remind me we want to talk about the cabal. And Mint Diggity is here. Oh, show Mint Diggity. That was weird, Frank. Bah! I heard that. Yeah, Liam's a weird dude. And Mint, no response to my email. I don't know if I sent you that message this morning, but I haven't heard anything. Look, man, I don't know much about the guy, but he gives me creep vibes. And I know he had a lot of issues here in New York, and that was part of the reason I moved to California. And there are stories. But he's a sober fella now, so I hope he changed. But I do think I felt like the way he handled the Pat Dixon and then moments later race situation showed a bit of cowardice, if nothing else. And anyway. All right, so Frank told me earlier. So here's the story, guys. My wife is away. She's in Europe for the week, and she's coming back on Sunday. And I need to get the smell of cigars out of my house. Or I'll never have another need for the thing I walk around with in my pants ever again in my life. And Frank is recommending an ozone generator. And I'm laughing because I bought like 5 cans of Ozium. You ever see that shit? It's in like, usually you see it in a car wash. And sprayed the fuck out of the house. And that seems fine. And then yesterday, I got my car back. I haven't had my car in a month. So I've been driving around in a 14-year-old Acura, which is falling apart. So I got my car back um, after having had an accident, and I get in it, and it doesn't smell like smoke. And I said, they had just washed it for me. And I said to the guy, I go, this car doesn't, I go, it really doesn't smell like smoke. And the dude said that they use um, something called Odoban on it. And then he explained to me how to use it. Explained to me how to use it. So we'll see. I'm wondering, it might be the same stuff I use in my office that like hotels use to get rid of the smoke in the room. But the difference is this doesn't have like a stink to it. It was like you got in the car just smelled fine. It didn't smell like there was all sorts of like you go in a hotel and your eyes are burning because the the smell is overwhelming. So I don't know, but we'll find out. Maybe I'll just tell her she bumped her head or something, and we'll figure that out. Um, oh, Frank, I thought it was you. It was in the chat earlier, and I'm not going to go back. And uh, but that's it. The final boss. I don't know the final boss. Hi, final boss. I'm glad you're here, as I am everybody. Um, but I see your stuff around all the time, and you're one of those guys that like. Um, some of us are just in chats, and there's nothing happening. And then I see you in chat, and you will chat, and you will elicit a response, positive or negative, but there always seems to be a response. So I don't know what that's all about. Um, but pretty wild. Sketty Tooth John, use Glade plugins. Uh, I have the the Febreze plugins that, and you get them I get them at BJ's, like our version of Costco, and it's a little. There's 2 bottles together and whatnot, and I love the smell, but both in my office and at home, uh, my wife and my staff both hate them, so they take them out. But when I smoke in the office, which is after everybody leaves, um, I plug those in, put them on max, and they have to come in the morning and take them out. And I spray the place with a hotel remover. And I've only been smoking cigars indoors uh, in the last maybe 6 months, and it probably has more to do with winter. And I'm on a pretty strict diet, and so it was kind of helping me not eat. But I have to stop. So I have a bunch of cigars left. When those are done, I'll be done. And they're not very expensive, and they're like I don't know, they're like a 10-minute smoke. I think they're like 4 inches. So we'll do that. Sketty Tooth John, I do not remember where I met you, but I met you at something, possibly Hackmania, but I don't know. And I'm not, it was like a, a quick hello, but Sketty Tooth John uh, draws a lot of attention. So I imagine she's like Nick Ricade is going to be if she's at Hackmania, where there's going to be a line to see her. And I'll just walk away and go talk to the people that nobody wants. Hackmania, Sketty Tooth, Hackmania. Um, See you soon, Taz. You guys have a great show. We'll get over there pretty soon. Um, Pat Dixon's on, so if anybody feels like leaving me, that's fine. All right. What did Ray tell you Liam did in New York City? Um, I have to, I have a weird thing. I have a very strange relationship with Ray, and Ray's not allowed to tell me things, is basically what it comes down to. I don't want to hear anything about anybody other than their comedy from Ray. We don't talk about people or individuals that like that some of the people that are on shows. And so obviously we've talked about, the videos, the infamous videos that were happening. But as far as like Liam goes, um, he never really said anything, but I kind of made clear I don't really want to talk about these people. Like I don't really talk to him about Brennan, right? I mean, I have an opinion, but I don't tell him what it is because he gets to live his own life. Frankly, if I were me, I wouldn't be going on Brennan's show, but that's that's me. So there we go. So that's kind of my relationship with Liam, but I know other comedians, and that's the and that's where that comes from. Um, but he was interesting, and I think very much fueled by substances that could make someone annoying. And he's always been a big guy, so I hope this Ozempic or whatever the hell it is taken works. And we'll see. We'll see what's going on. And Tuna is here now. Understand? I heard today that there are like 17 Tuna alts. So welcome to whichever alt you are. And Sketty, of course, I'll come and say hi. And there we go. All right. Now, Deb, you're going to have to close your ears for this one. But so we've everybody's heard about the cabal, right? There's supposedly some cabal to take down KB, and it was 3 people, and it came back. It didn't come back. It came back to Ray, right? Because I guess a chatter made a joke. So Dan came out with the cabal thing. Then a chatter made a joke. Ray saw the chat and, of course, thought then Dan had said Ray was part of this cabal. So then I spoke to Dan and we cleared up that Ray wasn't part of it. And then, that part got cleared because we all were joking around that Ray couldn't organize a sock draw, let alone a cabal. So that was it. So that's the cabal. That's my cabal part with Ray. And I got to get a tissue, guys. So just hold on a second, all right? Whoa. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. Right back. This is a very professional show. Very professional. Wow. Wow. As you guys can tell, I learned everything I know about podcasting from Kevin Brennan. Except I don't eat on stream. Let's see here. Chow, stop being ridiculous. Raise on it. All right. So anyway, frankly, I think the cabal thing is Jesus. Excuse my language there. There's a friggin' thing in my ear. This way I don't have to look like a B-52 pilot with the headset over my hat. Look, Ray's not in it. Ray's not in the cabal. And then Dan straightened that out, but I don't know about the cabal. And I think cabals are stupid. I think that trying to take down other people's channels are stupid. I think a lot of things about that. And I do have some, there are some things that I think I could see striking. I don't know enough about the Zenhauser strike that was made against Menser Math, but it was a special and it was behind a paywall. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Um, so like that one, I don't know. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. Like my first instinct is never strike anybody, and then my second instinct is, um, wow, if he paid to put that together and he and Zen was going to make money on it, then streaming it wasn't really right. Like it's Zenhauser, does that makes him, and it's Shoeless, that makes him feel okay. But like, would he do it to a Louis C.K.? That's what I'm wondering. Yes, Tuna, I can strike this stream for just saying you heard I have a lot of alts. You can. Anyone can do anything, obviously. The question is it right? And that's where I have my issue. Like with Keanu back when she struck, was it Will Heron? When she struck Will Heron for clipping her. I mean, aside from just the sheer stupidity of it, it wasn't right, and it certainly didn't help her. You know, if she thought she was going to help her get views or something, that sure as shit didn't happen. All right, so I think the cabal is stupid, right? Um, I My gut feeling is there is no such cabal, um, and I certainly don't want to be involved in it, even as a joke. And then I watched Dan tonight, nice podcast, stupid, and he spent, I guess, the first 15 minutes of his show saying that he was the cabal and he was taking people down and he had taken down Chad's Patreon and he was going to take down other people's Patreon, and this was sort of payback for him losing monetization, and there were other people involved in it. I think he said more than three and less than 20 or something like that. And I just find, you know, I like Dan a lot, but I just find it distasteful. I don't even, because I don't even think that's like something you should joke about, because you just, because it makes you look like shit, and then and then who's going to want to deal with you? And any of these plays, I'm sure that it's up Mint. I don't think you took it down, but any of these places, any of these people, and the thing, are going to be afraid to deal with you, right? Because he really was like, if you feel you're safe, you're not. And there were people he liked and didn't, and you didn't know and stuff. And I just I don't know. I don't think it's a good way to do it. Now it's Dan. Dan can do whatever Dan wants to do, right? That's fine. But I did not. I just I don't know. I think it was a I don't know. I think it was a joke, but Dan has this way of sounding serious. So maybe he said something later in the stream that reversed what he said earlier, but I wouldn't think so. And I don't know what I I was trying to figure out, like, what's the point? Like, why are you doing this? Um, is it to be funny? Is there really a cabal? Um, so I don't know. I don't know. And Mint Diggity, reverse cabal. Yeah, I am a reverse cabal guy. There's check today because I wanted to see what the number was. There's 51 million YouTube channels, and if you don't like one, just watch something else, right? And this leads me into my next thing. I am so fucking tired of this whole ESO, Shuli, new, all this crap. What ESO did was horrific. It's a horrific fucking crime. And minimizing that crime to try to own Shuli is despicable. And I couldn't have said it better than Adam Bush did when he said, "There's a million reasons to hate Shuli. This is not one of them." Um, I know I've talked to Shuli. Um, I've talked to the other guys that are here, and I believe that nobody knew what was going on, right? But I also believe that if they did know what was going on, There was nothing they could do. And, everybody's got like, oh, if this was me, I would do this. And if this was me, I was listening to Quad last night. He's going off like, oh, this is what I would, this is how I would have handled and everything. You don't know. You've not been in this situation, right? It's like getting robbed. You think you're going to be a tough guy and you find yourself being a pussy, right? And I will say, the first time I got robbed, I was just scared and didn't shit in my pants or anything, but was scared. But it was obvious the guy was there just to rob, and he was going to get the money and he was going to go. The second time, these guys were frightening, and I reached the point towards the end where I was going to attack back. Um, they left about the time that I was like, because I got taken into a back room and shit, and I so I didn't know what I was going to do. I would have told you that if it had happened to me again, I would have, um, fought back. I was a fucking pussy. I sat in a chair in a back room with a guy having a gun at my forehead and uh, a bit of poking going on, if in the forehead with that thing. So that is, so I don't know. So you can talk about you would do this, you would do that. I also spoke to somebody today, right, who worked with somebody who had a history um, of bad things with children and had no idea, right? And so, I have to tell you, now look, I only met ESO for 10 minutes or so at Pottstown, but the guy seemed normal to me. He seemed a little shy. He's very short, and I'm short, but he's very short, and he was very, I don't know. He was just, I don't know. He just seemed shy. Like it wasn't like he picked off vibes or kicked off vibes. Now, truth be told, like if I saw Uncle Jack walking in a room with his sleeveless shirt and his what do you call it, barbed wire tattoo, that'd give me the fucking creeps. Because old men in sleeveless shirts just generally give me the creeps. So, um, and I would be wrong, right? So you never know. You never know what you're going to do. And I'm not here to defend Shuli. Um, I don't dislike Shuli. I get along with him, but we're not friends. We don't hang out, and I don't know. I feel like we're minimizing the things that ESO did just to try to get them. And yeah, Mintig, I just want to say this. So yeah, it's his producer, and they were close. Um, and I had a business partner who was stealing from me, and I didn't know, right? And after he left, there were a million signs and a million things people told me that I should have seen, and I didn't see it. And talking about that robbery, I said the one guy was in a suit, the other guy was in a short sleeve shirt, and it was December. And somebody asked me, "What? Well, didn't you know something was strange when he walked in a short sleeve shirt?" Like we're we're kind of blaming the victim, right? And if you look at the ESO stuff, like look at the case, um, and you look at what his sentence was, it's obvious that ESO was cooperating um, with the feds, but you also had a wife and kids involved, and I can't imagine this was anything anybody's talking about. And the fucking guy's name is Isolino Persuti, and I tried to check, and really, it came out on the news, but they didn't really. It wasn't. It was a very quick thing. So I don't know how anybody. I wouldn't blame anybody for missing it, especially a guy like me, because I don't ever. I never watch. I never watch the news. I only read newspapers and look stuff up when I'm interested in it. So I would have missed it, but I don't care. Even if he knew, um, even if he knew, he didn't do any, like he found out, he didn't do anything to, in my mind, to encourage it or whatever. And, uh, just watching like watch FBI or whatever. If Shilly been involved, he'd be away now, right? Let's be honest. And, and the Dabbleverse and the internet attract a lot of creepy fucking people. But I get annoyed when I was listening to BYB last night. I get annoyed because it's like Dave Sauer is convinced that they scheduled DabbleCon 2 so that it would fall 2 days before ESO's conviction. I mean, let's be serious, right? It's not the way it works, and nobody's consulting anybody. And if you're being convicted of child porn, do you call your friends and tell them? Come on, I mean, it just it's just unbelievable on its surface. But it's a great way to own Shuli, right? And if you're guys like, a guy like Kevin Brennan, it's great. You just, you keep calling it the pedo network. You keep doing guilt by association. And, because you want to fuck the guy. You don't care that 6,000 kids' images were on a computer. You just want to fuck with Shuli. So I find it very childish, and I dislike it. And I also, um, I'm not a fan of like last night you had four guys and the four guys gang up on Shuli. Hey, bring somebody else in. Let's have an alternate opinion. And I also did think that Adam Bush on BYB really did kind of stick it to Quad a little bit. I know Quad was trying to minimize it. And again, Quad is another guy who's I'm friendly with. We talk, we text, but I really thought Adam did it. And Frank, here's my thing, man. Frank, they would crush KB if Adam pulled an ESO. You don't know that. This is the thing. You can't know that. You can think it, and you're allowed to think it, but you can't know that. You cannot know what anybody would do. And this is kind of my point, right? You think you know it. Everybody in their mind, we all know what we're going to do when something happens, and we don't do it. So, that's so and look, I'm not saying that Shuli is a great guy, right? And I'm not saying that you should love Shuli or like his show or respect him or anything. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is by using ESO to try to own Shuli, you're minimizing what ESO did and you're turning a heinous crime into a joke. And that's my point. Um, Justin Kemple, just so you know, I'm not a Shuli ball washer. I was at Pottstown, as I've said many times, and it's the only time I've seen Mike Morse perform, and it was awful. And not awful in well, it was awful. It was awful because he's telling fucking like airline jokes. He's doing the thing with the stewardess, like uh, the fucking seatbelt bit. We're putting on in your buckle and pointing. It was. I'm like, fucking years at 78. Like that blew me away. And Morse is known as a writer. He's written a lot of roast jokes for a lot of comedians. He's uh, and he's successful at it, right? I mean, he's not a mil. I shouldn't say he's successful at it. As far as I know, he's successful at it, and he has a good reputation among writers, as far as I know. So I was really surprised to see this, and I was almost embarrassed for him. So um, I don't know what he's like as a person. I'm sure he's a fine person, right? Nice guy. Would have seems like a nice enough guy, but man, whoa, that was bad. Bad, bad, bad. Um, Frank, they make up shit about KB all the time. You don't think they'd run with something that was true about its producer. What do they make up about KB, Frank? Like, give us a couple of examples here, all right? Because this is the stuff. I hear this. They make up stuff about KB. KB makes stuff up about Shuli. But I need to know what it is you're talking about, because I don't know what that stuff is. I think what happens is that um, rather than making stuff up, they take something that's out of context and then use that to try to shit on them or turn it around. But that's my feeling on that subject. Um, okay, hold on. Mike Morse's strength is in parody songs. Uh, uh, uh. So those ahs were intentional, Deb. Look, they may be, but stuff that I don't know. Not the stuff that I've heard on the Schmuel show and stuff, but you go back in comedy way longer than I do with these guys. Like you actually know these people and you've interviewed a bunch of comedians and stuff. And so uh, maybe on Stern, that was what he did. I don't know. I wasn't really that much of a Stern listener, so I don't really know. Just gonna run through some chats. He's awful. Like what the fuck, man? Justin Kemple. You could not, if you had been in my head and had my thought, you could not have expressed it more clearly than that. I was embarrassed for him. And also this was something that I had dragged Mrs. Buckman to, and I was really looking forward to it. And there of course was the, hour and a half or whatever the fuck it was delay, and there was no planning and nobody came out and gave updates and all this other stuff. And it was like um had I known it was probably going to be that long, I probably wouldn't have stayed. And I've talked about other issues with that thing too. So I'm going to say there are I'll say 250 people in the room, and 175 of them maybe were there for Perry Caravello, which, if you were a Schmuel fan, um, you were not sold on this Perry Caravello thing. Like you thought that it was their show and Perry Caravello was going to be kind of a guest. Well, it turns out they were selling this as a Perry Caravello event to Perry Caravello fans. And so it was a bit uncomfortable because those people knew nothing about the Dabbleverse. Um, there were a bunch of drunks in the audience creating problems, so the stand up just didn't work. And when it ended, and there was a meet and greet when it ended, and every single person in the Dabbleverse, including Anthony Cumia, did not have a line. My wife and I spent about 10 minutes talking to him. Um, there was no line for any of them, but Perry Caravello was on the side of the stage and he was mobbed. There had to be 150 people or more waiting to talk to and see Perry Caravello. So I felt it was a wee bit disingenuous the whole way and the way it was done. So that's my that's my thing. And his wife. Oh, you're talking about Kevin and his wife leaving him? I mean, that's not a right, but we don't. Maybe. Oh, Mint Diggity said it first, right? His wife. Um, we don't know, right? And we're Kevin said a bunch of things about Shuli, right? So it goes back and forth. I mean, we're too late now in the game to be saying what's true and what's false and uh and not. But you've got Melton, you've got Dixon, you've got Gino, you've got, I mean, it's just a myriad of people believing that Kevin is alone. And look, it's not hard to believe considering how much he streams. He supposedly has teenage children. So as you would, if you're a dad, would you be sitting in the room screaming Ray is an idiot, and being angry for 2 hours while your kids were in the next room? So I don't know. I don't know. But Deb, is Perry funny? I don't get him at all. I know he was the main draw. Um, I don't find him funny. He's interesting for a few. If you've seen Windy City Heat, it's interesting to then see this guy in person. And he did, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes on stage, which was plenty. Like, it was interesting, and he tells, I guess, stories that they all know and they all wanted to hear, but I hadn't heard them before. Um, so uh, that was interesting. But other than that, like the Perry Caravello that we see where people are sending him, like it's funny to hear about him getting fillet of fish when he's at the doctor, right? Like that was funny. But it's like, how often can that be funny? And I almost feel like, and it's one of the things I talked about with Michael Ray Bauer. I feel like we're picking on somebody with a mental problem, and it just doesn't feel right to me. So, but that's me. I unfortunately have a heart, and I have been told that I take things too seriously, which is probably true. But Perry did, like I said, he did about 20 minutes on stage, and it was funny. But I would imagine that it's the only 20 minutes that he has. Um, so I don't know if it would be funny again and again. But the people loved him, man. I mean, and it was like um, the Dabbleverse audience age was 40-ish plus, maybe even a little bit more. And the Perry Caravello age was like late 20s and 30s. Uh, Cookie and I met, we met like 4 or 5 couples who were married a few years, and Perry was like the thing that they did, and they were all into it, and it was something that gave them commonality. Um, and I'm gonna go into Aussie guy. I will get there. I actually have an opinion on that too. Um, Hated Windy City Heat. Tried it a couple of times. Couldn't get through it. I love the Windy City Heat. I thought Windy City Heat was great, but I'm also a big Corolla ball washer, so I really like Corolla. So maybe knowing he had something to do with it, but some of the stuff was just really funny. What are the pants called that directors wear, that the motorcycle cops used to wear? Um, and Bobcat wears those the entire time, like an old school director, and he only speaks through a megaphone. It's very funny. Um, so I really like the people that were in it. And all right, Frank, hate on KB all he wants, but he's stacking up for his kids and still generous with others, while Shuley has been real bad about paying people and smokes weed all day. I don't think you're correct. As a matter of fact, I know you're not correct, because I know that uh, Bob Levy worked for him and worked for him, and he didn't quit the day before payday. Kevin Brennan told him he didn't want him anymore. He's firing him because he talked to Chad, and Kevin has never paid that money. Kevin has also told people that he was going to pay them and then didn't pay them, um, and including one Clearwater Chad, because Clearwater was supposed to get paid to go on KB's show. Clearwater went on Ray's show after, and KB refused to pay Clearwater unless Ray paid him first. So uh, KB likes to talk about he's the only person that pays people, but he really uses the money as a cudgel. So fuck him in that regard. And again, KB is a talented guy. I'm not taking away from KB's talent. He's a funny guy, but he just reminds me of like a Bond villain who's using all of his intelligence and abilities for evil. But there you just go. That's just me. Yes. And yeah, it is funny once. It is funny once. Oh, you're talking about Hackamania. No Ray, no Pat, no Earl. Um so Earl was barely there last year. Um it was he I I you can see in the performance that he did, he's like super talented. He's really good. He's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I could not imagine a person who wanted to be at this place less than Earl. He was just totally disinterested. Um, in my view, this is just my opinion, and uh, he didn't really want to be there, and it felt like there was a open mic competition, right, with legit comics and then just members of the audience. And there was going to be rewards. They gave money to people, stuff like that, and people had to get points. I don't remember what it was exactly, but um, the entire time, Tukey was on the panel. Some really obese comedian named Kool Aid was also on the panel, and Earl. And in my opinion, right? Um, and not because of anything that happened to me, Earl just looked like he would have rather been anyplace else. Anyplace else. Um, when you have an extended delay, people naturally head to the bar. I will. You have to understand the setup there, but I'm not going to go into that um, tonight. Uh, no Ray. So I might have said this already. I'm gonna miss Pat. I'm a huge Pat fan. And Ray was fine, but there's no stand up this year, so I don't really know what he would do. And last year he had the podcast, and he didn't prepare for it. So it was like he was, I believe it was the opening podcast. And, half an hour before the podcast, he was still looking for guests. And he had months to do this. And then he got pissed off at Patrick because he wanted to have Tukey on, and Patrick said no. Because Tukey was on every other fucking show. And if you listen to Tukey's voice, it's not Rocco's voice. And if you listen to Rocco do Tukey for 2 hours, he can barely talk afterwards. And there was a lot of stuff planned around Rocco. So there was that. Um, Making Schmuel feel. I feel, but I don't know what I feel. All right, wait. Uh, this is Cap. Do we mean crap, or you like my Villanova hat? Um, Levy sniped him the next day. He deserves nothing. You're supposed to get paid for what you did, right? And if Kevin is the bigger man and Kevin says he is who he claims to be, then Kevin should get paid. And I haven't said this yet. Please like and subscribe. Please accost your family members. Make them sit down at a computer and subscribe. I could it would be very helpful to me. Um, oh man, Pat Dixon is sniping and playing the piano. Yeah, Pat. Tuno, are you cool with that? I am 100% cool with that. Um, you will not catch me saying anything bad about Pat and his comedic choices. Um, and he's a good guy. And I will tell you that in ways he's been very helpful to me. And he's been very encouraging in me doing this stream. And so yeah, never gonna happen. I want Pat. I want Pat to do it, and we are. I did tell Pat last night. I guess it was last night that I will be live streaming the Pat Dixon Memorial White Castle run that we're going to be doing, and that comes from last year. If I'm telling the story correctly, and if I'm not, Pat will correct it on his show. That uh, one of the cool people gave these guys some cash, and instead of keeping it themselves, they went to White Castle and ordered like $100 or $200 worth of food. Now I wasn't there, can't eat White Castle, but I can't imagine how much goddamn White Castle that must be. And so they're going back to White Castle. And the thing that's weird is like Fremont Street, like you think there's taco places, there's all sorts of like shit to get food, but they all close at like 11, 12 o'clock, and White Castle is open. And for people not from New York, I guess it's a real treat. Um, So, all right, let's go. Deb, it wasn't an Earl crowd. To be fair, they were there to see Ray. Um, I, I disagree. I think that there were. Uh, I don't know that anybody was there to see Ray. I mean, we enjoyed Ray, but Earl Earl got a lot of build up to a lot of people, and a lot of people had never seen him because he's a West Coast guy. So it was, but Earl just didn't seem interested. And look, I could be wrong, and he really was, but it was just like even after the performance, there were people hanging out, and Earl was like, uh, he grabbed Ray, and they went down to the South Point. So while the rest of the people were hanging out. Um, TJ, MLC ambassador. MLC. Gotcha. Oh, Mr. Let's come. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Uh, to be honest, Earl was so creeped out by that crowd. Dave Sauer tells an interesting story, which is so Earl went to Hackamania. When Earl came back from Hackamania, and he was doing his podcast, he started with very few people, and post Hackamania, he went from like 15 to 100. Um, but he would not talk about the Dabbleverse. He would say things like, "Look, I don't know if you know this, but we don't do that here. We don't do this." He liked talking about hockey. He liked talking about other things, and he went back down to his 13 or 14. So maybe it wasn't his crowd. Maybe that's a valid comment. But Earl does what Earl is known for doing what Earl wants to do. But he's definitely a talented guy, and Dr. Chow the Mega G. Cap means lying. I don't know what part I'm lying about, but this is Cap. I don't know, Mint. You're welcome. Right, I got that. Cap, crowd, I got that. Mint diggity. He said they were worse than wrestling fans. It's possible, but it wasn't really that kind of a crowd. I mean, I don't know what kind of crowd he's used to, but it was a fun crowd. Um, it was just a bunch of people that wanted to have fun, and guys that they'd never seen before, like Dick Masterson. Uh, People really liked it, and that's why they're coming back this year. Uh, so I don't know. I didn't look unless you're talking about me, but I don't think there was anything wrong with the crowd. There we go. And if I throw a brick through my job as I'm quitting or getting fired, they are not paying me. It's that simple. Sniping MLC was the reason he didn't get paid. Rightfully so. Wrong. He was fired. So, of course, he sniped MLC. And it was good for Kevin and it was good for Bob. So, but we get, Frank, I get what you mean. You don't have to correct it. And KB doesn't, well, now, right? KB does nothing but snipe other people. Snipes Kumi's paywall show on the daily. And I've said it a million times, but for a guy who sucks so bad, has no power, is an open micer, makes no money, Kevin wouldn't have any content without Ray DeVito. He literally needs that like 70% of the time. So, all right. Mint Diggity. He said you were all freaks. I think he's got an attitude problem because we certainly weren't. And the Carl crew, the WATP crew, and there's a lot of them, are like the most normal people on the planet. I don't know how else to put it. It's very they're what you would expect. They're Rochesterian, kind of uh, not weird, not creepy. So I don't know. I don't know. And everybody else had a good time. So if other people felt the same way, then maybe I would agree. But I didn't think Earl was just that. He just didn't want to do it. And TJ, his cousin bashed a girl's skull in with a golf club. Let's believe Earl. TJ, TJ. I'm going to take you out to the woodshed and, or right on the board. Uh, we do not believe in guilt by association. We do not believe in guilt by association. Just because it's his cousin doesn't mean it has anything to do with him, right? Yeah, you got it. All right. Everyone make me diggity. Everyone makes up rules as they go. Yeah, I agree. Um, I agree, especially here. I just think that I think Earl committed, and then he didn't really want to. He was like, "Fuck it, I gotta go," because I seem to remember that Patrick was like um, nagging him at some point. Like I don't know what the problem was, but he got there, and you know, it just didn't seem like some. It just didn't seem like he wanted to be there. Which is fine. I mean, I get it, um, but let's not blame it on the crowd. Ed Zeb, I think Brennan is an evil human. Did you see him scream at Carm for petting his cat? He told the guy to kick him out if he touched the. He'd kick him out if he touched the cat again. Um, this is a tuna alt. The question becomes is how much of this is Kevin's character and how much of this is Kevin being real. Um, I tend to enjoy the kind of the real. So when I can't figure it out, when I feel like he's play acting or the word that they love to use in the dabblers, being performative, I, you lose me. But he's just so angry. I can't. I don't like. I'm a happy guy, and I tend to be. My nature is to be angry. So if I get like a Kevin Brennan, if I'm around negative people and yelling people a lot, I'll wind up that way, and I'm just a real piece of shit. Um, paint a pant inhaler. Okay, say that one more time. Pant inhaler. All right. I just lost 7K on the game tonight. I'm going to recoup my losses on the streets of Chicago. Yes, yes, you are. Um, yeah, Jesus, if you're losing 7K on a game, man, there, head head over to that GA meeting. I'll give you 6 to 5. It'll work. All right, Mintiggity, gay, la, e, lame. All right, tell me, Mint, what is it? Mint is one of my most respected. When Mint sends me a DM, I take it to heart, and he makes me think, which is very funny. But he makes me think, and one of the few of you guys that did. And Mint, I think we talked about this, but I just and there was somebody else that asked me about it too. I am not going to go. I just really don't have any desire to go see John at the Stress Factory, but he's going to be at Uncle Vinny's in August, which is like between Mint and I. So we will grab the ladies and make them come. And there's a ha 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 double entendre. And there's a great restaurant down the street from there that we can go to. All right. And I didn't see Tuna all because it's difficult to watch his show these days. Oh, I didn't see it, Tuna Alt, because I got you. Yeah, I can't watch it. I've been having trouble watching it as well. Have you considered an AMSR channel? I know this is weird, but with how close you are to the mic, I'm getting a bit stimulated. Ooh, you're cute there, Jung. Male or female? Yeah, I should probably be backing off the mic. But my chat's supposed to tell me these things, man. I'm not a professional. I'm a boob. All right. Frank, he wouldn't have content without Ray. You believe these weird lies about KB. Just like Liam generally believes the Trump administration is going to throw him in a camp. One is imagination, and the other I've seen with my own eyes. I mean, he goes on specifically to snipe Ray. He's got Ray's content on more than anybody else's, and he's got everybody's content on these days. So, I'm not imagining it. I'm not imagining it. He's got a thing for Ray. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a daddy son thing. Maybe he really loves Ray and Ray's not doing what Kevin wants him to do and he doesn't know how to handle it. Or I don't know. Is it possible that he really hates Ray? I mean, I don't know what it is, but um, you can guarantee that Kevin is not going to get through a show without making a comment about Ray. Okay? He's either stupid, he's an open micer, nobody likes him, he's performing in front of two people, mommy bought him a jacket. I mean, it's about 10 things that he just fucking cycles through. Um, and it's not really very interesting. And Ray is actually interesting. I know that comes as a shock, but he is in a kind of a weird way. But I like Ray, and it would he'd have to do something to make me turn on him, and that's never going to happen. And we don't always get along, but it is what it is. All right, Lorenzo, my buddy from Hackamania last year. I'm just another garden variety freak, man. Yeah, look, Lorenzo, you were there. It was a normal crowd, right? Like everybody was having fun. Um, Everybody enjoyed himself. There was nothing weird going on. I mean, look, Masterson does bring some strange people with him. I don't know if strange is the right word, but he did have that Riley and mint salad with him, and there were a couple of like oddballs, but not many at all. And I mean, you had beloved chatter there. How could you? I believe so thorough Joe Burrow is there. I mean, a lot of the Mason and Portland. I mean, there were a lot of like regular people. So it wasn't like odd. I'm trying to think of an odd name in the odd person in the chat. Um, but then I'll wind up insulting somebody, so I won't pick somebody out. TiVo. If everything Mint is saying is true, Earl is an idiot. If Mint is making this up, she is an idiot. If we're talking about mint salad, it's a she. Um, I've seen it. And yeah, it's a she. And oh, you're talking about mint diggity. I'm sorry. I was just talking about mint salad. If everything, oh, I gotcha. Earl is an idiot if Mint is making this up. He or she is an idiot. Um, with Mint, you never know, right? Could be one, could be the other, but he's a good egg and he's a good contributor to stuff. He keeps a lot. His chats keep a lot of things going, and Tom Myers wouldn't have a show if it weren't for Mint. All right, Deb, I'm done now. KB screamed at him to keep his cats off his lap. Yeah, but again, was it being real or not? It's just the answer to your question is this. Per Deb. At Tune Alt, KB exploits willing idiots who stumble over each other to get a spot on his show. And that is something that I agree with. I have no idea what the benefit is to going on Kevin's show. Even if he pays you. And let's say he pays $50, it's just not worth it. And then the problem is, you go on that show, you take all the abuse, right? You get shit on, you get insulted, you get the whole thing. And then he pulls the show down afterwards. So it's like you don't even get any legs of anybody else seeing you get shit on or how you responded, or rooting for you to have a chance to come back and win him over or any of those things. So it's just like a beating for no purpose. But look, if $50 or $150 is going to change your life, then yeah, that's fine. Um, I wouldn't ride in a convertible with him. This one got past me, TJ. But does anybody have any idea what this is about? Because I don't. But I wouldn't ride in a convertible with Stern because you'd have to constantly go back and keep getting his hair. No, he's really a prick. Earl, right? Yeah, Earl's kind of miserable. But he just is. He is, and he does have a way of making you feel um, like he thinks you're a piece of shit. I don't know how to explain it. It just it was very interesting. It was interesting. Um, let's see. All right. We'll go down. Oh wait. Deb, I used to look to forward to 4 p.m. rolling around. I haven't been able to stomach KB's rage for a year. It's indulgent. Yeah. I do remember when the Shuley group and the KB group would go up against each other at 4 o'clock. And I had to make a decision about which one to watch, and I kind of like them both. Uh, but now it's just four. If I put YouTube on, I'm at work usually, and if I put YouTube on, I'm listening to a replay. And excuse me, shit went down the wrong pipe. Um, keep yourselves busy. um, here's the deal. There are some shows that are Dabbleverse adjacent or in the Dabbleverse uh, that are good to listen to on replay. Uh, I think Melton is okay on replay, but I think you kind of want to see it live. But Luigi Greenberg does Skeptical Robot, and they're great, and they're great to listen to on replay because it's not like chat heavy, and it's usually a historical thing on skeptical stuff. And in the last couple of weeks, he's been doing Frank Dux, I think is the guy's name, who was the inventor. I don't get this right, but I think he was the inventor of the "I could touch you in one spot and you would die," the big secret of the Orient or something. Um, and he explains, and it's funny and it's good, and so I really like it. Um, Buckman was gooning to the thought of that chick. Uh, Actually, no, I wasn't. But I won't. I will. Um, I had no idea who it was. Zero idea who it was. Her outfit was a little funky, um, and what it just was what it was. And then I was watching something on YouTube, and I saw like a movie review with mint salad, and I'm like, oh, that's who that is. And uh, she looked very good on camera, at least in the stuff that I saw. So, but I don't really know her that much. I mean, she was spending a lot. They had like a group of people. That was one of the kind of things like there were a group of people who really knew each other, or several groups, and then there were floaters like myself who were just walking between stuff, meeting people. Dr. Chow, if Brennan gave you $500 for 3 hours, would you do it? What would I have to do for 3 hours? If you're asking me if I would do Brennan's show for $500 for 3 hours, the answer is no. Um, the only time I did Brennan's show was when he was in Atlantic City. I went up to the room and I did it because I wanted to stick up for my friend Ray, um, and give Kevin a little shit about some anti-Semitism. And I did those things, and I really have no desire to do anything else. I just don't see an upside for me, and $500 would not be enough for me to take abuse for 3 hours. So, and it's not like $500 isn't a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I could use it, like anybody else. Get a decent camera, um, or half a decent camera. But yeah, it's just not worth it. Dave Sarah, JFK. Um, so this is either an Earl Skakel reference or Dave Sarah is just fucking kidding. Bo Beardington Mint is more machine than man, twisted and evil. Um, Bo, the only thing I know really is um, was standing there talking to somebody, and then she started talking to them, um, and I walked away. She seemed nice. I wasn't really paying attention, um, and then I saw her do a movie review on YouTube, and I thought it was cute and funny. I didn't see the whole thing, um, but that's like, that's all I know about her, and so you can't. I'm not making an adequate judgment. And then I've heard more about this Eric July and Riley stuff and whatnot. I can't. So yeah, it sounds a little crazy. Um, all right, Kevin's attitude filled with anxiety and tension. Then he gave me a migraine. And this is a tune all. It's sadism for me to watch. Kevin at Mega means at this point. But if you do put up something about Kevin negative in on Twitter, uh, you can bet you'll get a bunch of responses that call you bad names and judge your sexuality. So, Dave Sarah, better get your troops in order, boy. Um, Dave, I'm going to get off in a little bit, but you should pop on for the last couple of minutes. Um, man, Earl was being funny. He has a show to put on too. He's a Hollywood guy. His thing is to look down on something like that. Um, what do you call it? Yeah, like I said, he's talent. Like you could see that the guy was really talented when he was doing stand. Like the crowd wasn't into him because I don't know. I just I'm trying to remember, and I don't want to like. So I don't know how much this is my imagination or if it's real. The real part is that um, I don't think the crowd was into him, but I think his attitude towards the crowd, I think like he came on and it was kind of like a shitty attitude, and and he did a very short set as I remember, um, and I found it hilarious. Melton found it hilarious, and several others of us found it hilarious. But I think the wider audience was really looking more for like typical setup punchline stuff, and that wasn't Earl. And Earl is also tall. He's like a good-looking guy, and apparently he has this giant penis, and so um, he was kind of talking about being a very tall, good-looking guy with a giant penis. So maybe that turned some people off. I don't really know. Dave Sarah, my girls are ready. Did you take KB's stuffed pillows there and put them in tutus or some shit, or did you get did those plastic fleshlight parts finally show up? Tell us, Dave. Tell us, um, Frank. I think this is about we're going to end with Kevin Brennan because it tires me. If KB is a bad guy, then what is Stern after he berated Dana Plato about her drug use and the day before she died? I like that KB handles Felicia. He knows she can break any day and push her. Uh, if you think what KB has done to Felicia is handle her gently, we have a major disagreement. If anything, he's let her launch more and more into her delusions and ratchet up more and more of her crazy stories. And the whole sending Pat Dixon super chats and it's just she's got problems, and this is like one of the things that's dangerous in the Dabbleverse. Some things can be funny, some people can be interesting, but sometimes we're picking on the mentally retarded or mentally ill. I said I'm not going to say retarded, and I promised myself I wouldn't, and then that's why I said it. But it just doesn't seem to me like they're all there. I would love for her and Mr. Kill Everything to hook up. I think those two would be perfect for each other. Um, all right, kids, it's 12:12. We need to start getting wrapping this sucker up. All right, so we talked about cabals. All right, and I'm making clear. I like Dan and whatnot. I just didn't understand what that was all about, and I don't like cabals. I don't like taking people's shit down. I don't like going after people's money. Um, and I just generally don't like fucking with other people. It's okay, like joking and shit and some good natured ribbing, but um, you know, it just it seems to reach a level of evil that I don't know. I just don't like it, and it's so not necessary because everybody I've met here, um, I don't say everybody, but almost everybody that I've met here have been really great to me. And some of it may be trolling, but I got a lot of encouragement in the beginning when I started doing the stream. And I thought I was being trolled, but it was weird that the people who were sending me these messages would troll me, but they were giving me advice. And the advice they were giving me was good advice. It wasn't like anything to make myself look like an asshole, you know? So, nobody said I should, get a nipple clamp for $50 and do that on air or, order filet of fish and have it sent to Brennan's house. It was really good stuff. Um, so let's go down here. We got a few more. Uh, Mint, that's right. Bo Bearington was just kidding. Dave, get the slow-minded seniors back in shape. You must be talking about yourself. Um, it tires you, boy. If this ain't you tired, I don't want to see you asleep. I'm slow. I talk slow. It's what my wife always complains about. She's like, she doesn't understand how anybody can listen to me talk on air. Um, hey, EMDR. Felicia did Felicia no good? EMDR. Oh, well, so let's talk. We real quick. What happens is the problem a lot of times with therapy and stuff is uh, if you're not being echoed what you want to hear, you'll move on to another therapist, and you'll keep moving on to another therapist, and you'll never really work at it. So that's what appeared to me to be happening. It was like she wanted to find a therapist that agreed with her. So. There you go. And any of these treatments, EMDR, cognitive behavioral, any of those things can be um, molded into what you want them to be. And you got to remember, the therapist, like anybody else, is selling a product. So they want to keep you coming. That's why you find a therapist, because it's great. The greatest therapists are the hardest ones to find because they're so busy. Nobody wants to leave them. LOL, it's true about Felicia. I agree. If he treated Felicia like Tom Myers, she'd be gone. Dave Sarah. All right, we're losing Tunal. EMDR is serious treatment for trauma. Um, yeah, maybe there would. I understand that it's a serious treatment, but uh, every treatment is serious. It just depends upon who's applying it, who's doing it, and was the trauma that you think happened happen? So um, Frank, Dave, we agree on so much. Oh, it looks like we have a love connection. Can we pay for your first date? All right. Look, Dave's ready. I don't have to pay for a first date. Frank, can we fuck already? All right. All right, guys. Let's say, thank you, Buckman. We can't fight with people who are mentally deficient. Correct. Do you feel like you're hopefully you're not talking about me, but I'm getting there slowly but surely. It's 12:16 a.m. and I have to get to work in the morning. And decorated veteran Kabul. Um, and what decoration are we talking about? Um, Give me one or two. My biggest, the only decoration I have is the Air Force Commendation Medal, and I think they give that to everybody. Um, Buckman, I don't like going after people's money unless they're using me to make money. Um, yeah, look. Um, if I'm a partner in it, if I'm a participant in it, I don't really care if they're using me. But I don't like going after people's money either. And look, I'm going to tell you, I think the main reason why people hate Shuley is because they don't respect him, and it pisses them off that he's been successful at doing this, and they're just rooting for his failure. And anything they can find to to do that, they will do. And then there's also Vince. They had their falling out, so Vince loves his edited videos and his Rocco files and all that bullshit. Um, to try. Vince, to me, the man doesn't have a soul. He just eh, whatever he can do. He's like the ultimate troll, the worst kind of troll you can have. Money, access, and heartless. Um, although mommy tells me I am completely wrong. All right. I don't know what about these fires. I'm not going into it. I was the subject for many streams of some people who went live every night for 12 hours. Holy shit. I couldn't even fucking I couldn't even watch it. All right. Decker, I don't talk about Kabul with anyone but a fellow veteran. These things that went down in the desert ain't nothing to pry out of a man. I wasn't asking you to talk about what happened in Kabul. I am a veteran of the United States Air Force. Although I didn't fucking do anything. Um, we don't call it the chair force for nothing. Um, but I was just asking you. You say decorated. I wanted to know what the decoration was for, and if you tell me it's a bronze star, I can then know what your danger is, or a silver star, or um, those things, and oak leaf clusters and stuff like that. So that's it. I was just asking. But my dad, uh, Bronze Star awardee in Korea, and he never talked about it. And he had the Bronze Star. It was framed, but he never had it up. And it was only after he died that I found the orders that accompanied the Bronze Star. And I was like, holy shit, you know? And the dude just never talked about it. Never, never, never. All right, let's go down here. I'm lost, man. I'm just happy it's a system that represents. Oh, the Armos. I thought it said Amos. Armos. Um, Schmuel Carmax. No, but I have a 2012 Acura for sale if anybody wants it. It has a bad turbocharger. Runs great, and I just got it inspected, so you don't have to have it inspected for 2 years. But there we go. Mint Diggity Hat. LOL. What do you think about Karmic X? Karmic X and I are going to do a stream together. Not a permanent stream, but we're going to stream together. We're going to do a mutual stream. Um, I haven't watched a lot, but what I've seen, I find him interesting. Um, and I kind of like a guy that yells, that, can get up the energy and yell at a camera when there's nobody else in the room, and not be pissed off at the chat, even just, carry that kind of anger around. So that was pretty cool. Schmuel Buckman from Tuna. I can tell you won't lose your mind when you hit the big time. Well, I'm never going to hit the big time, so there's no risk of any of this shit happening. So let's not worry about it. Look at all these folks who can't handle positive attention in the hack verse. Positive. Yeah. I don't know. There's positive. There's negative. Dave Sarah was the one that taught me early on that um, just accept the attention, good or bad. Um, just take it. And so I liked it. And I know that in the beginning, like I said, I was getting positive attention, but I didn't know if I was being trolled, and it turns out that I wasn't. All right, and all right, this is decorated veteran. I'm gonna guess you're not, so we're just gonna move on. Um, a tuna all. I think Gilly is lying about MDR. Just end the sentence at lying, and you've got it. Um, Ian, yes, Buckman, they will move on to another therapist if they don't hear what they want. Yeah, I do. So, remind me, guys, I had to tell you the story about my therapist getting arrested, but we're not going to do that tonight. And I love Dave. Dave's the guy that the old ladies back in the old country would say, Habibi Dave, anytime they mentioned him. Um, yeah, I like Dave a lot. Dave has been uh, really a true friend in doing this, and he's also like trying to herd a cat, but he's a very cool guy. Um, we're gonna do the old like and subscribe thing. Buckman, are you trolling us? Like, is having the wrong take on literally every subject a bit? I don't know, decline host. You know what I'm finding is that it appears that you're more wrong than I am often. I wasn't aware of that. And and I'm still waiting for the Citizen M documentary exposing my life as paint drying. Um, but yeah, I'm sure you're a good egg decline host, but seriously, um, I don't know. And to be perfectly honest with you, I have my takes, and they're my takes, and I'm not gonna bend them because I want what do you call it? I'm not gonna bend them to just try to make people happy. It's why I love Ray. Uh, I'm supportive. Declinost, he's a Melton fan. Nothing but bad takes from these folks. Incel takes. Very odd bunch. Um, I can be described as a lot of things, but involuntarily celibate is not one of them. I'm married. It was not a choice. All right. But I see, look, we had an earlier love match going on, and now we apparently have one down here between Frank and Declinos. Couldn't agree more, Frank. Why don't you guys do a stream together, right? You can go for it. All right. So I think we're at our last chat. Da 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 da. Ooh, ritually sacrificing a cat. Ooh. Uh, so I had a cleaning lady in Queens that was like into that like Santeria shit and whatnot. And one day she comes into there's an apartment condo co-op, and she comes in and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Charlie, very bad, very bad." I'm like, "What's the matter?" "There's black pepper in your hallway in front of you, though, black pepper." And apparently, putting black pepper down is a way to visit evil spirits on someone you don't like. So I learned about that, but I also knew that that black pepper came from me because um, I dropped it in the hallway. Anyway, all right, let's go. Uh, Decline host. I'm in a cabal to end this channel. You would make Mrs. Buckman very happy. So, um, and you'd probably make my clients happy too, because I'd be better in the daytime. Um, all right, let's get one. All right, Sam Bibley. Judge me by my enemies, not the podcasts I watch, please. Um, yeah, look, it's the fucking Dabbleverse. It's the internet. Um, you get like you get enemies because then, but it's not real. Like they just need somebody to pick on and somebody to hate. But Sam, I have seen you in other chats. More, I've actually heard people say Sam Bibley in other chats, and they all seem to be glad you're chatting. So um, that's the way to go. Or podcasts I go on. Uh, I don't know, Dave. I turned down $500 to go on Brennan for 3 hours, so I'm better than you. Um, This is the Buckman. I love the stories. Thank you. Thank you. And if you end the stream, where will we go? I don't know, man, but it's almost 12:27, and I cannot go past 2 hours. So I've got like 3 minutes left. Sam is right. Um, I'm I'm becoming such an old man. I don't know what Sam said. I'm a fucking idiot. Oh, judge me by my enemies, not. Hold on here. Judging by my enemies, not the podcast I watch. Yeah, and I know, but we do that a lot, right? Like it's like, um, if you say you watch Shuli, oh man, how could you watch that shit? How could you watch that shit? And uh, or Carl or whatever, like who's ever in favor. So if you watch Melton, you're a Melton ball wash or whatever. Um, I'm not. I'll tell you how I am. I'm the kind of guy that I will generally watch something for quite a while and then just stop watching it. Um, so, right at the moment, it's Melton. I used to watch Shuli all the time. I don't. Used to watch Brennan all the time. I don't. Um, TJ is heading to Syosset. Good for you. Is Syosset still a nice town? Long Island amazes me. Um, Decline hose. Address the transgender allegations. Um, I don't know. I don't know that I really should. Um, they've told me that you're confused and that um, this dysphoria, this body dysphoria that you have, um, has affected your chatting and your podcast and stuff. But I'm probably not the person to discuss it. So good luck with that. All right. This old man needs a team of medics. He can't hold a thought in his skull. No, I can hold it. It's the finding it in there that's the problem. Um, all right, buddy. I'm gonna go with this. That's why I only watch small. Dr. Chow, the Mega G. That's why I only watch small news shows. Going for Neo streams works, so I'm not a bandwagon jumper. Some agree, some disagree. I have been picking up some of the bigger shows that I watch, but not comedy shows. Um, Shit like CoffeeZilla, and then other financial shows and some stuff like that. I do find that a lot of the quote unquote documentaries, YouTube documentaries, are bullshit, um, and avoid. Uh, they're just not real. They're just not real. Like they're telling you what you want, what they want you to hear, not what's real. That's really going on. So when I hear somebody say they learned history from a YouTube documentary, I'm like, oh, well, let me take a look at it, and then I'm like, editing is fucking great, but the story, the facts, they don't match up with reality. So that's it. All right, guys, and Buckman is hip on CoffeeZilla. Who knew? Um, I asked Dave Sarah one day if he knew who CoffeeZilla was, and he nearly had a fucking heart attack. How dare you ask me that, you old man? Um, okay, why hasn't anybody tried to get Crackhead Barney on their show? She's a hoot. Don't know who it is. Don't know who it is. So, all right. All right, cool, man. So closing out, thanks everybody for watching. Please like and subscribe. And the Aussie guy asked a question about Shuli and John, which I forgot to answer, and I'm not going to answer it tonight. I'll wait until he's here, and then I will talk about that. Um, so we got the like, we got the subscribe, and I understand that if you leave a comment after the show is over, like in replay, that counts for more. Um, so I can use all the help I can get. Um, I may be back tomorrow night. I don't know. I'm trying to get as much in as I can before Mrs. B gets back. And then we'll go back to the usual Tuesdays and Fridays. and my door is open, and that garbage truck signals good night. So good night, everybody. And Dave Sarah, I think, is going to be hosting a live stream at 12:35. So you should all hop over there at Dave Sarah on YouTube, and if you happen to send him any super tips or super chats, um, let him know that it's because I recommended you come over there. So thank you, OJ.